This is like therapy for me, man. We gotta talk about this. The Mandalorian. So this is the season finale for The Mandalorian season 2. If you thought the movies were bad, The Mandalorian came to save the day. Let me tell you that. This last episode, okay, let me just say spoiler free real quickly. The whole season of Mandalorian season 2, the whole show, The Mandalorian, if you're at all a Star Wars fan, obviously you're already watching it. If you're not watching it, what are you doing? You need to go back and watch that. If you're not a Star Wars fan, go watch Star Wars, be a fan, and go watch The Mandalorian. If you're a casual fan, you're not sure, should I or should I not? Definitely watch Mandalorian. Season 1 and Season 2. It's amazing. But really, this is a treat for the fans. Especially this last episode here. That's spoiler free. Now, spoiler warning, 100,000% spoiler warning, spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled, do not watch this video at all. Man. That was good. Oh my God, that was so good. I'm speechless. Like this literally, I need this for my own self. This is therapy for me. Woo. So obviously everybody came back, right? Boba Fett came back, Bo-Katan came back. I'm surprised Ahsoka did not come back. I thought she would come back. And then, you know, I forget the other characters' names, to be honest. Those two, I forget their names. But obviously the Mando. Din? I think his name is Din. Is that his name? Din? And then Grogu now, Baby Yoda, obviously is here. Moff Gideon. Oh my God. That man can fight. Let me tell you, that man can fight. So the Darksaber. Okay, all right. I'm all over the place right now. For you to really appreciate anything about this, you really need to go and watch the Clone Wars. If you don't understand what's going on, if let's say you're a Star Wars fan, but you're not, you know, you just watch the movies, you missed out on a whole lot. And I'm kind of part of that boat because I just recently, the last couple of months, really started pushing and grinding through the Clone Wars. And it's a kid's show at first, but it's necessary. It's necessary for you if you're a Star Wars fan because you get so much depth into the Star Wars universe. And then obviously after that, there's going to be Rebels. And there are a lot of intricate stories that you may already know, like, you know, certain characters that are not actually dead, they're alive, etc. They're fleshed out a lot more in those series. So a lot of the background of The Mandalorian, for example, where the Darksaber comes from, all that stuff, Bo-Katan, all that stuff is littered within these shows. And it's so cool to see it come to, and Ahsoka, of course. Ahsoka is, like, huge. So it makes such a huge difference. It really does. Like, it makes a huge emotional difference. Mandalorian. I'm sorry. First of all, we're greeted to, like, the most epic Star Wars battles that make Star Wars. All these galactic fights. Right from the get-go, you're introduced to a dogfight with Slave One against the Empire troopers. And, well, are they troopers? Pilots? Whatever. One of them ends up being one of the people that was on the Death Star that destroyed Alderaan in the first movie, or Episode 4, A New Hope, whatever you want to call it. That's the same one where Leia was on and she watched her planet get destroyed, etc., etc. So I had to explain it to a couple people that weren't really aware of that. But right there, it's just so cool. The fact that the Slave One came up in front of the other ship, almost like how the Empire would do, generally speaking, and you'd see it like, oh, this huge, massive ship. It's so intimidating. It just shows you how intimidating Boba Fett is. And I was always one of the people, I've never, like I said, I didn't consume all the content of Star Wars. I didn't consume Legends, none of that stuff. Here and now, you know, I would listen to things here and again, but I'm not like a huge, like, comic book reader as it comes to Star Wars, etc. But, man, yeah, I know why Boba Fett had the following he had, man, it just shows how much of an intimidating factor he is. And yeah, so we start from there. Don't worry, we're gonna get to the spoiling part. We're gonna boy, we're gonna get there. Then they finally find their way back to the ship. They gather the crew together, blah blah blah, and they get their way to the ship to meet Moff Gideon. And the way they plan it out is pretty cool. Slave One is chasing this Empire ship. The Empire ship really has Bo-Katan and the whole crew on there. And the idea is they're going to pretend as if they're under fire, and Moff Gideon's ship will open it up, let them come in, etc. It didn't really play out exactly that way. He sent out some of the TIE fighters to go and attack them, or actually attack Slave One, rather. They still find their way on the ship. Okay, great. Everything's good, but obviously everything is suspect. And Boba Fett leaves. He turns around, shoots down the TIE fighters, shows them, yeah, I really can take you guys down if I wanted to. And then just heads out. And that's it. You don't hear from him again. And then the star of the show really becomes the blade, the Darksaber, right? For a second, I thought Moff Gideon was being honest. Call me gullible. I mean, I wasn't paying attention to how much time was left, to be honest. And there was a lot of fighting already. Before we get there, the Dark Troopers. When he first fought that Dark Trooper, I'm like, man, these guys are like, they're literally the Terminators of Star Wars. Like, there's no difference, right? And somehow, Mando is able to beat one of them. Which I was like, really? But then I realized it's because of the special blade that he had. Or the special spear that's made out of the metal. I forget the name of the metal. But man, when he ran up to that door and it was like 20 Dark Troopers, I was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're thinking. But I would have gotten out of there. No, he ran straight to them so he could try to shut that door. Okay, awesome. And then, after he beats this one trooper, he goes and he, opens the latch and opens the door, and boom, they're all gone. And I'm like, oh man, that was a little anticlimactic. They built these Dark Troopers up like they're going to be something crazy, and I can't wait to see them in action, and no, nothing. Okay, alright, fine, whatever. It's good. Fighting was alright. They're OP anyways, makes sense, that's how you have to defeat them. Okay. Oh, man, was I wrong. Woo! Was I wrong? So, he meets Moff Gideon, fights Moff Gideon, and Moff Gideon, yeah, he betrays him. For a second, I thought he was being truthful. Like, yeah, I already got the Force, the midichlorians out of the kid, and that's it. I don't need him now. Obviously, I think for sure, I think he was telling the truth there. I think they did get the midichlorians or whatever the case is. I don't understand how they would have resurrected, what's his face? Palpatine, right? They had to have done it somehow by some sort of Force user. Maybe he left a guide for them or something that we don't know about. I don't know. But in any case, it's either it was for Snoke or it was for Palpatine. I think it was for Palpatine. I don't think it was for Snoke. I think it was Palpatine. Yeah, I think it's definitely... I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. It's Palpatine. If Alderaan lived, terrorism would exist, right? So these people believe wholeheartedly in their mission. So it makes sense. Like, they're going to go all out to bring the one emperor, their one savior, that has the power and authority to challenge the status quo, and they'll follow him blindly. No, Star Wars. I'm talking about Star Wars. Yeah, Palpatine. They're trying to bring him back some way, somehow. Maybe he left a blueprint for them or whatever. And Moff Gideon obviously knows a lot. Clearly, he knows a lot about the Force, about sabers, Jedi. He knows a lot, and he knew at the end what was happening before it happened. So something's going on with that guy. So him, Din, and Moff Gideon get into the fight. That fight was intense. Like, I was like, is he gonna die? Is Mando gonna die in this season? No way. No, he's not gonna die. And then they even showed you like the blade, how strong it was, how fierce it was, and how it started to like light up the spear. I don't think I saw that in when Ahsoka was fighting the other lady. I forget the other lady's name, but I don't think I saw that happening. I don't know if you did. Let me know. But it seemed a lot more intense. There was a lot more power behind that saber in this fight. So I was like, oh man, maybe there's something I don't know about it. But rest assured, Mando wins. Great. He brings him in exactly as he promised, but only one big problem. That big problem, which will definitely be addressed in season 3, is he's got the dark saber. And what is the significance of the dark saber? The significance is it was made by a Mandalorian Jedi way back when. It became the tool or the authority to rule Mandalore. Whoever wins or defeats the individual with the saber is now going to be able to rule Mandalore, which is what Bo-Katan wanted, which is why she wanted so badly for Moff Gideon to come back, so that she can beat him. That was the big thing. This was her condition. But Din defeated him, and he took the saber from him. And he's like, here, just take it. And Moff Gideon's like, oh, she can't take it. She can't take it. She has to defeat you in battle. She has to kill you now. He's like, oh, I forfeit. Here, he's like, I yield. So, like, it doesn't work that way. We're like, oh, man, what are they going to do to us here? What's happening? And in the middle of this chaos, oh, my God. Remember those Terminators? Remember in Terminator when that one guy, the one that melts, he was just like running, doom, 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 doom. And he would not die, no matter what you did to him. He would not die. That was the Dark Troopers. These guys. I'm like, yeah, I would think they should be able to fly in space, right? Doesn't that make sense? I mean, you press it and, well, okay, I guess they don't have jetpacks. They can't fly. No, they could fly. They could fly. And they came back. And it's like the music just starts pumping. Doom, 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 doom. And you're like, oh my God, this is about to go down. This is about to go down. 20 troopers coming in. And you're like, I saw what one could do. Whew. These guys are dead. And Moff Gideon is sitting there beat, all bloodied. He's like, you guys are all going to die. Every single one of you here. We all know you're all going to die. And these guys are standing, these troopers are standing in front of the door. The only thing separating them, between them and Bo-Katan's army, is the fact that this door is there. And they're like, boom, boom. And you're like, I don't know how they're going to get out of this. Like, I started thinking they should shoot the window and then they should fly out of there. And I'm like, no, they probably can't do that. Right. So I'm like, how are they going to get out? I don't know. And lo and behold, so I thought, what I thought was going to happen, I was like, oh, Boba Fett's not there. He left. He's going to come back somehow. And like, I was certain he was coming back. He was going to be the hero. And he was going to get the blade, especially that they built up this animosity between him, Bo-Katan, and I forget the other girl's name. And I'm like, yeah, this is what it's going to be. He's going to get the blade somehow, and they're going to go at it. Nope. It turns out there is this X-Wing that flies in. Oh, Lord. And when the X-Wing came, first I was like, they're going to do this thing where the whole fleet comes in and they're coming to save the day. I thought it was that dude. I don't remember the guy's name, but he was one of the Rangers with the Republic. One of the earlier episodes where he stopped Din in the middle of space. I thought that was going to be him and he's going to come with a whole army. But then then I was like, oh, or maybe Boba Fett went and got them. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. That's just too corny now. And then they said a line where they were like, oh, what are we going to do with one X-Wing? Great. So I was like, if I don't see more ships in the next like 5 seconds, that means this ship is by itself. And then they didn't follow the ship cinematically. Like, they showed the ship and then they moved away from it, like it cut off. And I was like, this is an important ship. And I started thinking some thoughts. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way this is this person that I think it could be. There's no way it's that person. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe it's some other person. Or maybe it's another person. I was like, okay. Let me think of the more likely possibilities. The most likely possibility is Ahsoka, which would have been great, but I would have been so underwhelmed. I would have not been happy if it was Ahsoka because of how hyped up I got in that moment. Like, it needs to be more than Ahsoka. So I was like, what if it's Obi-Wan, right? I mean, they're coming out with an Obi-Wan show. What if it's Obi-Wan, right? Like, it could be Obi-Wan. And then I'm like, what are you talking about? Obi-Wan's dead. Like, this is after... This is way after. He's already dead. And I'm like, wait. But in that moment, my brain is not registering. Like, my brain is not... I'm still holding on because I'm like, it can't be that one person. It can't be that one person. No, there's no way. There's no way it's that one person. It's that one person, man. It was Luke. It was Luke Skywalker. I was like, what is going on? I started screaming. I was jumping up and down. I couldn't contain myself. I still can't. I can't believe they did it. Like, I just can't believe. I don't even care that the CGI looked horrible. I don't even care. I'm just happy he was there. I'm just so happy that I saw him there, and he was like, he was kicking some. He sliced through them like butter. I was like, oh, these were the Dark Troopers that I was so worried about. Oh, he's taking care of them. And they did so many cool things with him. First of all, when I'm trying to figure out who it is, they were hiding him. And then I noticed the hand. And I was like, oh, it's definitely him. But still, I'm still holding out. I'm like, I don't want to say it's him because I don't want to be disappointed. I'm going to be so heartbroken if I buy into it fully and then it's not. And so I held out because Star Wars, they've disappointed us a couple of times. But they did some things, man. It was so good. First of all, they showed his power. Finally you really see Luke on screen. And it was exactly the same feeling that I got when they did that with Darth Vader in Rogue One. It was so good. That ending was amazing. That ending had me jumping on my seat like a child. It was amazing. And they did the same exact thing here. Couple of things. First of all, when he did that little force choke, but instead of a choke, he did it with like a straight hand like this. I was like, that's Luke, man. That's Luke. That's a callback. Return of the Jedi. That's what he did. So I'm like, that's him. And it's kind of like they're mirroring between him and his father, Anakin. And my son was with me. And he was like, is it Anakin, Dad? I was like, no, he's dead. My son, he should already know, but he was too young to remember. So for him, Anakin is like his favorite Jedi. He has no idea. He has no idea Anakin is Darth Vader. He has no idea Darth Vader died. He has no idea Anakin died. So I said Anakin died. His face looked like Simba from The Lion King when he found out his father died. Like, it was that. So, yeah, man. They were mirroring between him and his father so much that they literally they copied that scene, that epic scene from Rogue One, where he just has the saber just opens up exactly the same way that Darth Vader did it. They're just showing you it's like father, like son. Like, it's in the genes, man. It's in the genes. Oh my God. Except it was a green saber. And you're like, now I'm like, it's Luke. And then he comes. I'm like, come on, guys. You're holding out too much. You're hiding it too much. Just show us the face. And they show us the face. And I thought it was going to be, what's the guy's name? Sebastian Stan? Is that what his name is? Winter Soldier? I thought it was going to be him because there was a whole, fandom around that idea, which I don't think is far-fetched, actually. Now that they showed this, That would have been better because, truth be told, that CGI or whatever tech they used, yeah, it was not like Leia, from Rogue One. But I don't care. I love the heck out of it. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, I'm man, that was amazing. I didn't even register what happened after that. I just was like, that's all I need to watch from this show. Obviously, then after that, Mandalorian. Then he doesn't want to give up the kid Grogu, but Luke tells him he just needs your permission for him to come. Blah blah blah. He gives him permission. They hug and kiss. The whole goodbye. And he heads off. And on to the next season. And I'm like, man, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is perfection. Like, this is perfect. It couldn't have been a better ending. That was amazing, man. Like, I know I'm like geeking out right now. And I know if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're like, look at this nerd. Like, pfft. Bro, I'm proud to be a nerd if that's what the case is. I'm happy to be a nerd because that was amazing, man. If you can get that feeling from anything, I'm happy for you because that's a good feeling. That was a good feeling, man. That was amazing. All right? Don't hate. I walk away because I forget that this is Disney, right? I forget after credits. There's 7 whole minutes left. I don't care. There's no after credits. The 7 whole minutes is just 7 extra minutes for credits. No. That one dude that would be on the side of Jabba the Hutt, he's now in charge of Jabba's gang or whatever. Boba Fett shows up at the end. Goes to that lair. Without even thinking about it. Shoots the guy. Kills him. He's dead. And then all you see is Boba Fett sits down on that throne. That is his throne. It wasn't Mandalore that he's after. I don't know if he's after anything, to be honest. But maybe putting on that armor, that mask, just brought him back to life. One other thing I want to talk about. That little exchange between him and Bo-Katan, or again, I don't remember the girl's name. The girl that was with Bo-Katan. Or Bo-Katan, rather. They had a similar exchange to what was said in Clone Wars, which is Jango Fett, Boba Fett's father, was not Mandalorian, which always threw me for a loop. Because I'm like, is he a Mandalorian or is he not a Mandalorian? Because I keep getting mixed signals here, right? And then the last episode before this, or 2 episodes before this, when we first met Boba Fett, we realized the armor belongs to his father, and his father was a foundling, much like Din was. Din is a Mandalorian, and so it makes sense. Okay, Jango Fett was Mandalorian via being a foundling, not originally being Mandalorian from Mandalore. And season 1, it made it seem like Mandalorian was a creed. But clearly this season, and clearly if you've watched the Clone Wars, it's definitely not just a creed. It's more to it. There's factions between them, etc. Which is where Bo-Katan comes in. So it was interesting the back and forth that they had going on between them. And then she was going after his father. Like, your father was not a Mandalorian. Oh, no, he's like, my father was a Mandalorian. He's like, your father, oh, you mean your donor? He's like, careful. And she's like, you were a clone. I've seen many clones like you. And I've heard your voice many times. He says the best line. He goes, well, it'll be the last. And I was like, oh, man. Yeah, you don't want to mess with him. Anyway, they get into a fight, and surprisingly, she gets the upper hand on him. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know how that's going to go with the fan base, but all right. But in any case, yeah. Oh, of course, duh. And then the big announcement. They didn't announce it during the Disney. I don't think they announced it. They announced all these Star Wars shows. They didn't announce Boba Fett. And everyone was like, why didn't they announce Boba Fett? You would think that they're going to have a Boba Fett show, but I guess not. So in this show, the ending, they announced the Boba Fett show. I forgot the name that they called it, but who cares? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to watch that. Are you kidding me? Of course we're going to watch that. So anyway, that's my thought on this Mandalorian season. This season was epic. This season was epic from the beginning till the end. I don't know what people were smoking when they said, oh, this wasn't as good. I heard some people say this wasn't as good as the first season. First season was way better. Okay, great. All right. Okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, I'm sure. Maybe I'm just on the hype train, but yeah, the second season, I was loving every single episode. Like, there was a bunch of episodes in season 1. I was like, this is corny. I don't like it at all. There's a couple of characters that continuously give that vibe, even in season 2 a little bit. But nah, season 2 was amazing, man. For any Star Wars fan, season 2 was amazing. And what did it do compared to what the sequel trilogy did? And I was not a hater on the sequel trilogy, to be honest with you. I loved Last Jedi when I first saw it. And I still don't hate it. But I am irritated by it more and more every time. That's another topic, man. That's a whole nother topic. But my point is, I'm not a hater of the sequel trilogy, but I've come to hate many, many things about it. And the biggest factor of all of it is the fact that they didn't plan anything. That's when I really started hating. When I found out there was no plan, I'm like, what's the point of me even trying to follow along with this? You just disrespected my intelligence here. Like, I'm sitting here trying to piece these puzzles together and trying to give you an excuse. No, there's no excuse. You just literally were winging it the whole entire time. So I initially liked Rise of Skywalker in theaters. Again, it's like the hype, like when you're excited to see something. I usually try to be positive, to be honest. And I want to enjoy my time. I mean, come on. I like enjoying my movies, so I don't like to be super picky. So I enjoyed it. But when I come to watch it again, Rise of Skywalker, just as a movie, was not a good movie. Like, honestly, like, just from everything adding up, and it just wasn't like Last Jedi. Well, I'm sorry, Last Jedi was a better movie. I'm not talking about as a Star Wars story, but it's another discussion. But as a movie, as a film, it was a way better film than Rise of Skywalker. But all of it combined, it was just so undermining to the whole Star Wars lore and everything it built. That mystique, that aura of Luke, Anakin, Darth Vader. Like, it's hard to watch as I'm watching Clone Wars, and they're emphasizing the chosen one, the chosen one, the chosen one. The justification that came to my mind, how he brought balance to the Force, was him destroying Palpatine, right? But no, he didn't destroy Palpatine. Palpatine lived. So I'm still confused. What is he chosen for? How did he bring balance to the Force? I know there's an answer out there. I know I can come. If I say I can come up with an answer. But they complicated the whole thing. Like, they convoluted something that was so perfect because they didn't think it through. That's the problem. They didn't think it through. So the Mandalorian, I have hope that it will not retcon, but it will hopefully find a way to bring it all together in a way that holds it all and keeps everything intact. How are you going to bring that miracle to life? I'm still not sure, to be honest, but I can definitely see the way being paved for it. This is leaps and bounds a step in the right direction for Star Wars. Like, I am excited. One of the reasons I was so hesitant to even guess that it was Luke was because I was afraid to theorize and be so disappointed to realize that there's no point into theorizing because they didn't plan it out. Like Marvel, they plan everything out. So you're sitting down I was looking at Age of Ultron way before Infinity War came out. I'm like, man, when they get to that movie, this is going to be a scene that makes sense. This is going to be a scene that's important. This is going to be, and I'm like theorizing for years. And it all came together. Infinity War brought it all together. Endgame brought it together. Like, they did not disappoint. They did not disappoint at all. Oh, you thought Captain America can carry that Mjolnir? Oh, he can carry. Oh yeah, he can carry it. Oh yeah, he can. That's another discussion. Yeah, he can carry it. You know, like, they respected you. They respected your attachment to your fandom to their property. Like, they're like, I'm not just gonna lead you on with a stick or a carrot on a stick and then be like, oh, you stupid little fans. Oh, you thought this was? Oh, I'm just gonna throw that carrot away like it's nothing. For a cheap laugh or a cheap whatever, like, can I brush it away? I could in that moment. But does it hurt the image that you have or the feel? Oh, Disney. I can't talk about your stuff without you trying to sabotage my video. Like, for real? You gotta turn my lights off? Anyway, I loved Mandalorian, and I'm loving what they're doing. I'm loving where they're going with Star Wars, and I hope they keep it up in that same direction, where they add new lore while respecting the existing lore and respecting the fan base, and hopefully allowing the fan base to be able to be all right with, like, I liked Last Jedi. Like, I really liked Last Jedi, but I also really, like, the more and more I get into Star Wars, the more I'm like a little annoyed by the idea that you didn't plan it out and you did those things. It means that, I mean, how else can it mean? Like, it's like you're literally taking that and just throwing it out the window. Like, I liked it because I'm like, oh, they're going somewhere with this. That's why I like it. I'm going to be patient. So I'm excited that they threw me off guard with all the stuff. And I'm okay with what they did with Luke and blah, blah, blah. I actually liked Luke, even if he didn't fight. I liked what he did at the end. I think that took a lot of use of the Force for him to be able to do something like that. It showed a lot of power. So I'm not one of the haters of The Last Jedi. Let's be clear here. However, I am conflicted because I hate the fact that they planned it out. They did it without planning it out, and it makes me go back and hate things they did in it. You know, because there was no plan for it. There was not going to be a payoff. So what was the point? Why were you leading us on? Anyway, those are my thoughts on The Mandalorian, Star Wars, and I'll talk a whole lot more in this channel about this stuff. I love Star Wars. I love theorizing. I love Marvel. Marvel's huge. Love Marvel. Love video games and movies and board games. I don't love you, though. You see, when you got YouTubers like, I love you guys. What do you mean you love them? Love who? I don't know you. How am I going to love you if I don't know you? Can I how could you love me if you don't know me? I don't hate you. I don't dislike you. I like you, especially if you watch the video, especially if you like. Now, if you subscribe, I might get closer to loving you symbolically. I can do that. But I can't love you. I mean, I can't. No, I can't. There's no way. There's no way. That's not. No, it ain't happening. Peace.